Hey y'all, this is Southern Woods here. Welcome back to another video. So about almost 2 months ago now, I was in the middle of releasing another product, March Madness series. It was related to soft drinks, sodas. I already released part 1 and I had part 2 in the finale, ready to go. But for some reason, all the videos and all the files related to the videos disappeared off my laptop. Still don't know how it happened or where they went. I went through hell trying to retrieve them, but I couldn't, and obviously that discouraged me because these videos, they're longer, they take a lot more time and effort and research to make them. But I came back today to at least run you through each matchup briefly and how it went, because the bracket and all the matchup points were saved. So I'm not redoing the whole little series of the Soda March Madness, but I am going to at least give y'all the rundown of how it went. So basically a recap, because I feel like I at least need to do that, or else it's just going to keep eating away at me. But yeah, so there were 32 seeds. I believe this was not 32, there was 27 seeds. This was a pretty full bracket. Number 1 seed Coke, 2 Pepsi, 3rd Mountain Dew, 4th Sprite, going on all the way to the last seed, which was Jones Craft Soda. So there were a lot of matchups to be had and a lot of good ones. In the play-in round, the first matchup started with Sundrop beating Crush 3-1. So a couple of orange sodas, or citrusy sodas, I should say, going against each other, with Sundrop prevailing. And then in the second matchup, it was the 24th seed Canada Dry beating the 9th seed Schweppes 3-1. So a couple of ginger ales went head-to-head. Canada Dry, much lower seed, but prevailing easily. In the third matchup, it was the 8th seed 7-Up beating the 25th seed Cheerwine 3-1. And then going on, the 12th seed Fresca swept the 21st seed Muggs Root Beer 3-0. That was a little surprising by me. But going on, the next play-in matchup, the 20th seed Barks Root Beer beat RC Cola, the 13th seed, barely 3-2. So Barks was the first root beer brand to move on. RC Cola was eliminated. Next up, the 19th seed IBC Root Beer beat the 14th seed Faygo in a close matchup 3-2. So another root beer moved on to the Sweet 16. In the next matchup, the 11th seed Squirt swept the 22nd seed Mellow Yellow 3-0. That one was probably the biggest shocker of that first video. To me, the first play-in round, I like Squirt myself, but I was very surprised that Mellow Yellow was the 22nd seed, and then I was even more surprised that they got swept. Mellow Yellow is fairly big down here in the South, so it was a little shocking. In the next matchup, the 6th seed Fanta beat the last seed Jones Soda 3-1. Wasn't too much of a surprise there. And then in the following matchup, the 26th seed Doritos, not Doritos, I kept on calling it Doritos in the whole video series. It was a kind of a joke, but Jarritos. I know how to properly pronounce it. It was a joke, but since the whole series was gone, it kind of. Anyways, Jarritos beat the 7th seed Sunkist 3-1. That was probably the biggest upset in the play-in round. Second to last seed beating a top 10 seed. But there was 2 more matches in the play-in round. Next up, the 23rd seed Pib Extra beat the 10th seed Sierra Mist 3-2. Another thing that I was saying in that video, I was really hyping up Sierra Mist since they got discontinued recently, replaced by Starry, that this was Sierra Mist's last shot for redemption. If they made a strong run, bring Sierra Mist back, but they ended up losing first round to a Pib Extra. So it was kind of a dang, Sierra Mist, you really fumbled the ball. And then in the last play-in matchup, we had the 18th seed A&W Root Beer beat the 15th seed Big Red 3-1. So 3 out of the 4 root beers, which all played in the play-in round, 3 out of 4 of them moved on to the Sweet 16. But moving on to the Sweet 16, some higher seeds now playing in. We had the 1st seed Coca-Cola beat the 17th seed Sundrop in a close matchup 3-2. So that was a pretty impressive run by Sundrop, almost taking out Coke. And then in the next Sweet 16 matchup, we had the 24 seed Canada Dry beat the 8th seed 7UP 3-1. So that was our first kind of upset of the Sweet 16. I was kind of surprised by that, but Canada Dry is probably my favorite ginger ale. So, you know, I wasn't too surprised, but the seed difference was pretty big there. And then in the following matchup, we had the 5th seed Dr. Pepper beat the 12th seed Fresca 3-2. Another close matchup. And in the following, we had the 4th seed Sprite beat the 20th seed Barq's Root Beer 3-1. Moving on, in the next matchup, we had the 3rd seed Mountain Dew beat the 19th seed IBC Root Beer 3-1. So 2 out of the 3 root beers that made it to the Sweet 16 were eliminated very quickly and easily. And then the following matchup, we had the 6th seed Fanta beat the 11th seed Squirt 3-1. And then we had the 23rd seed Pib Extra beat the 26th seed Jarritos 3-2. It was a close matchup, and the biggest Cinderella story to that point did get eliminated by Pib Extra. And in the final Sweet 16 matchup, we had the 2nd seed Pepsi beat the 18th seed A&W Root Beer 3-1. So 3 root beers made it to the Sweet 16, but then none of them made it to the Elite 8. That was just kind of an interesting thing I noted. So going into the Elite 8, we had Coke, Canada Dry, Dr. Pepper, Sprite, Mountain Dew, Fanta, and Pib Extra and Pepsi. So all pretty big names, with the biggest Cinderella stories being the 24 seed Canada Dry and the 23rd seed Pib Extra. The first matchup was Coke going against Canada Dry. Coke easily handled them 3-1. And then in the following matchup, the 5th seed Dr. Pepper barely beat the 4th seed Sprite 3-2. You would think that Dr. Pepper would be the 3rd seed. You know, they're probably the 3rd biggest soda company. But surprisingly, Sprite and Mountain Dew technically seeded higher. They generate more revenue than Dr. Pepper does for the respected brands. But speaking of Mountain Dew, the 3rd seed Mountain Dew beat the 6th seed Fanta 3-2 in a close one, moving on to the Final Four. And the other Cinderella story at that point, Pib Extra, 23rd seed, was beaten 3-1 by the 2nd seed Pepsi. So both 20-plus seeds were eliminated in the Elite 8, leaving only top 10 seeds for the Final Four. So in our first Final Four matchup, winner goes to the championship. We had the 1st seed Coke beat the 5th seed Dr. Pepper 4-1. These matches were best out of 7 instead of best out of 5. And Coke easily handled Dr. Pepper. I was surprised on how not close of a game that was. And then in the last Final Four matchup, we had the 3rd seed Mountain Dew actually taking out the 2nd seed Pepsi 4-1 in a very easy rollover match as well. Very surprised. Mountain Dew, obviously a brand of Pepsi, and they just throttled Pepsi in that video. So very surprising. So for the championship, we had the 1st seed Coke against the 3rd seed Mountain Dew. Not a huge surprise. Was a surprise that it wasn't Coke versus Pepsi. Obviously, that would be what most assume probably would have happened. But no, it was Coke versus Mountain Dew. And then in a somewhat of a shocker, Mountain Dew beat Coca-Cola 4-2. So Mountain Dew is crowned the best soda brand in the world. Not based on just flavor, but based on all of the different categories we had going into that tournament. They outlasted everyone. So since I can't do it in the other series, since it's gone, congratulations, Mountain Dew. You are the king of sodas. And very surprising, Coca-Cola and Pepsi were not. They got 2nd and 3rd place. But yeah, sorry that I couldn't get a long series out since it disappeared, but hopefully this will make up for it. I'm sure this will generate more views and attention time anyway, since this is going to be about a 10-minute video versus 3 20 30-minute videos. But let me know what you were surprised with, what you found interesting, and be on the lookout for another actual series, hopefully that won't disappear in the future. It is summer, so I'll be doing ice cream brands next. But hit me with that like button if you like the video. Join the Southern Woods community if you wish to do so. Hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, y'all, Southern Woods out.